in to another episode of Hoot Shoot here on the SDH Network. I'm Madison Crews. Joining with me is head coach Chris Cahill, which, listen, the name is sticking. The name is sticking.
Everybody likes it. We're good. Everybody likes it.
Amazing. Okay, so the name is sticking, but yes, welcome back. We're going to recap everything that happened with KSU women's soccer because it's been a very busy couple of weeks for you guys. You know, a lot of really good results. And I think for me, let's go ahead and go back all the way to Mercer. It wasn't the result you guys wanted on the road. It was a 3-2 loss. But I mean, I thought it was one of your best performances of the season so far. I thought you guys connected really well and all the pieces were moving together. What were your initial thoughts coming out of that matchup?
Yeah, it was tough to swallow, honestly. I think we were a little bit angry after that game which is good for me to see that we weren't satisfied with the result that we got. So I will agree with you. It's probably the best soccer we played since preseason, and so it was nice to see us like string passes together, change the point of attack, get attacking third entries, and get more players involved with the game. What was disappointing for us is that we continued to not defend the box, and 1v1 flank defending was not good for us in that game, and that led to 3 goals. And so, unfortunately, I think the third goal, we just weren't focused. If it comes a minute after the second one, you're just not checked in, and they caught us. And Mercer's there's a good, solid team overall, and they're opportunistic, so they took advantage of it. But I was pleased to see with 7-ish minutes left in the game that our team finally just put some fight in there. Like, we're not going to let this story write itself. And then they put a lot of grit into the last 7 minutes of the game, and Alana Nesbitt was able to pull one off for us with like 40 seconds left in the game. And so that was for me as a coach, was good to see. I don't like moral victories, but it was good to see the mindset change to where I honestly thought we were where we were at the end of preseason.
Yeah, and then you go into that matchup against Tennessee Tech too, and it was a 0-0 draw. But you guys got the clean sheet, and defensively a really sound performance too. But unfortunately, just couldn't find something offensively like you did against Mercer.
Yeah, it was a tough game. I know Corey and Tennessee Tech, they do a good job of building a structure into their team. They won the OVC last year, so they're not this pushover team, but they know how to win games, and so they grinded one out for us. And they're kind of in the same place where both two teams were looking for some confidence. I didn't think we were as consistent as we needed to be. The enthusiasm and effort kind of waned a little bit on Sunday as opposed to Thursday versus Mercer. But having said that, you're dead on. Like, we focused a lot on defending the box on Saturday's training session, and to see us finally get a clean sheet. There's times it didn't look pretty, but we sold out enough to get the ball out of the box and defend that. So that was good for us to see. It's a positive, but again, I think we had a bad taste in our mouth after that game of we weren't happy with our performance. And to me, it was we didn't value the ball well enough like we did against Mercer. And that led to us not really controlling the game as much as we wanted to continue to get chances. So, but we're getting there. Caroline Shaw's getting there. She's got a goal sitting on deck for her somewhere. Rebecca's did a really good job of getting some chances in there. And so we're getting there. We just need to have a little bit more team effort in the final third.
Yeah, that duo up top has been fun to watch. You had Caroline Shaw to the mix, you have Rebecca Womer, then you also have Brenna Young, who's come in a couple of times too and gotten the start a couple of times too. What have you seen from that three, and how have you seen that connection really start to blossom in the last couple of games?
Yeah, it's been good. So I think those three, and you can even add Stella in there on Sunday, did a good job. Those four are starting to come together. I think Rebecca and Caroline's a dichotomy, right? You have a grad student versus a freshman. And Rebecca's been out for 2 years, and she's back in the game, and she's kind of getting back on the horse really quick at this point. So now she's kind of taking Caroline with her. Like, hey, there's some things that we want Caroline to do and improve, and Rebecca's given her that confidence to do it. And so it's nice to see like that gap start to help each other out, and Brenna's come in, and she's got a lot of athleticism and a lot of speed with her, and so she changes the game when she comes in, whether she's starting or comes in. There can be impactful moments to bring energy, and Stella I think did a great job on Sunday. She's honestly probably one of our smartest players on the field, so she understands where to hold the ball, and so she did a good job of setting some players up on Sunday. So it's growing. We're still trying to find the rhythm and work out some kinks, but it's nice to see that they're starting to come out of their shell. The freshmen are starting to settle in and understand who they are, who the other players are, and how to work around. There's some positives for it, for sure.
And this matchup tomorrow, going up against Georgia Southern, it's another tough one, in-state rival. I think just looking at Southern and the way that they play, it's a very similar to how Mercer plays. Very aggressive, very high press, long balls over the top. They're going to try to attack you on the counter, capitalize on a mistake. and you guys are going to be able to have the ball a little bit more and, hold possession and be able to build it kind of the way you guys did against Mercer. How is it going to be taking that game plan kind of against Mercer and translating it to Georgia Southern? And also, what are some of the differences too that Georgia Southern brings besides Mercer as well?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for us. We've kind of talked about it before. I think on the show is, Mercer and Georgia Southern are programs that we're trying to catch and trying to really surpass. And so again, another test for us to see how we measure up against the Sun Belt, but also Georgia Southern, and start creeping towards what they've been able to do. So for us, it's a good test. Like, we have nothing to lose, but internally, we've treated this as a semifinal playoff game. It's at home, and let's see what we can get out of it and start getting the mindset of what Conference USA is, and defending home and getting points out of home. For sure, lessons that we learned from Mercer are going to apply, like how to move the ball for each other and go and support each other. That's a big thing about us valuing the ball tomorrow night, and that's one of our keys. Can we be disciplined on the ball? And then defensively, they pose some problems. They for sure will play some long balls. They'll find some gaps in between and extend the field. So it's the ability to read what's going on in the game and be aware. And so the discipline, again, can we defend in first and second defenders and defend in twos and threes on the field? For us, our primary goals to making sure that we can stay in this game and ultimately turn it on the front foot for us and get some goals out of it. So it's a tough game. It's an in-state rivalry. Most of these kids know each other, and so it kind of enhances it a little bit more. So it's going to be fun. This is why we play. But hopefully we can start measuring up and getting some results out of these in-state games.
Yeah, it's also a little bit of a homecoming for you as well, a little bit with Georgia Southern. For you, how's it feeling for you going up and being on the touchline for this one?
Yeah, Southern is where I played. It's where I went to undergrad. I honestly I don't like playing Southern because I played there. I have to hear it from my friends that I played with, and honestly, it was like I enjoyed my experience down there. So I kind of want to keep that in its own little pocket, so I don't have to run into whatever may happen on a bad day. But it is fun, it's my alma mater, and so it's good to kind of see the common colors that I'm used to playing. But yeah, it's like a love-hate game, to be honest with you.
No, that's fair. It honestly, it probably feels that way. I can only imagine. It's always great for me when I get to come back and get to call games for KSU because I'm, alma mater as well. But it also is very strange. It's a weird feeling because you're like, oh, okay, this is weird. Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah.
But
I don't want them to win, but I don't want them to lose. But I also don't want them to even be here. So there's how you go.
You're like, stay separate. You're like, go back to Statesboro. You're like, let's just keep it over there.
We'll hang out on the road. We'll have fun with each other. But yeah, so it'll be good. I mean, Chris does a great job down there. He's found a niche and is continuing to build his program out. And so I hope that we become in-state rivals, and it becomes this tough game that we play every time. But yeah, for sure, it's going to be a game that we need to stretch ourselves out to start making some gaps in between where Mercer and Southern are and where we can ultimately get to.
Yeah, and we've seen this team, I think, slowly start to build confidence in the last couple of games. Yeah, I think Mercer, you saw Annabelle Orozco. I mean, once again pulling out a goal that comes out of nowhere, which I think that's just what she does at this point. Honestly, I think this is what she's known for, is just pulling insane goals out of her pocket. Alana Nesbitt too, coming in to the fold as well, bringing you guys back into that one. Players finding their confidence, and I think it's very individual. You're seeing a lot of players find that moment. How's it been trying to bring the entire team and getting all of them more confidence as a team instead of just individually as well?
Yeah, it's been the biggest task of our now out of conference season. So based off, just not to use it as an excuse, but we were really high after preseason, had a lot of confidence, and then missed 2 games because of weather, and then go into Auburn and Memphis, and then our confidence and doubt started to creep in, and our confidence waned. And so now, like, we're working with Dr. Lindsay, our sports psych here at KSU, and she's helping us figure out, hey, how do we bounce back and recover quicker from different things? So she's helped us get through that. People that are smarter than me, we bring in to help the team. So that's been part of our push in the last couple of weeks, is to find our feet again, and that's switching into a 4-back and being a little bit more confident. We saw that on Sunday by keeping a clean sheet. So we're going to continue to build off and be positive about the small things that we're seeing. And hopefully that brings our confidence back. It brings our feet back under us. It brings our awareness of the game under. But yeah, Annabelle, that's our game plan. How many golazos can she score a year? And that's literally what we say. All right, this is our key to a game. Golazo number 1, golazo number 2. So she's done a great job. She's a special player, and then Alana finds her moments, and she's been able to capitalize on some risky, propositions really from the other team, and she's been doing that for the past 2 years. And so not shocked, but what a great goal those two had against Mercer. So let's try to replicate it a few more times.
Listen, I don't know if you listened back to me and Jason on that call, but I mean, in the booth, I wish there was a camera there because I mean,
Yeah.
I was on my chair like this. Like I was losing my mind. And Jason's like, how? Like it was incredible. It was so fun. It was great. So it was a great way for like that point going forward. It was awesome. It was so fun. And it was great too to see everything, I think, fall into place a little bit with what you want to instill with the team too. And that leads into my last question. You know, you saw the fight against Mercer and you saw the fight defensively against Tennessee Tech, going up
Mhm.
against Georgia Southern, kind of putting it all together. You know, how proud are you of this team, you know, being able to respond in the way that they have been after these last two games and hopefully trying to take that response and push it towards something positive and get a result tomorrow against Southern.
Yeah, I am proud. Like this team has been through the rut, for so to speak, for the past couple of weeks. But I do think we got a great team. We got a good players. You know, I think they know how good they can be. I don't think other people know it yet, and that's one of the things we want to start proving and showing to people is that all the support that we get from KSU, from the event staff, from the athletic trainers, from everybody that's here. Can we start showing them all the work that we've put in? And it's no pressure on us to do that. It's just being ourselves, and being up for the moment. So the consistency has been the part that we need to start putting together again. And so building one step after another is really our mindset as we finish out the non-conference schedule. But yeah, I'm proud of them. We've had players step up. We've had freshmen step up. We've had players that haven't played much at the beginning step up. And so to see that our team is starting to understand like hard work brings opportunity. You can find time on the field and it can continue to grow 10 minutes into 15 minutes into 20 minutes. Like we've had those players on the field, and so it's nice to see that we're getting closer to ultimately where our potential could be. And so that's my goal. How can we maximize potential and continue to build that into the rest of our season?
Well, Chris, once again, thank you so much again for taking the time. We are going to bring it on over to Rebecca Womer, who is on the other side. I had the chance to chat with her earlier today as well. So we'll toss it over from Chris and we'll bring it over to Rebecca on the other side. Welcome back in to Hoot Shoot here on the SDH Network. I am joined with KSU's Rebecca Womer to talk a little bit about the upcoming matchup, especially going up tomorrow against Georgia Southern. Rebecca, first of all, how are you doing today? It's a gorgeous day outside. How have you been able to enjoy the weather outside?
Yes, absolutely. I was just talking with my roommates. We're super excited. It's finally starting to feel like fall. It's a little less humid, a little cooler outside, so it's nice.
I'm just hoping that like it stays this way and it's not the fake fall that we get in Georgia. I'm
It
like
always happens one time.
I'm praying that it's gonna stay, but I just know that it's not. I know that we're gonna like have a day where it's gonna be like 90, and I'm just gonna like lose my mind, and it's not gonna be good. But it's all right. We enjoy it for now, and we have a great time.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
Rebecca, I want to start and talking about this draw, this 0-0 draw that you guys had against Tennessee Tech on Sunday. You know, you're coming off of that loss against Mercer, that 3-2 loss. But for me personally, being on the call for that game, I thought it was one of the best performances you guys had, I think, since preseason. And it was a really good showing for what you guys had done. And, you know, coming in to Tennessee Tech, getting the clean sheet as well. What did you make of those two matches in that week?
Honestly, I think I was really impressed with our defense. I think that's something that we've been working on. And the past few games we've finally been able to, like lock in our box. So pretty good, feeling pretty good about that. And I definitely think the game against Mercer, we were able to build our confidence a little and kind of start attacking, which I think we've really been focusing on our defense and not as much on our attack. So it's nice to be able to show like, hey, we can, be dangerous in their half and not just protect our half.
Yeah. I feel like it's always a balance, you know, when, you know, chatting with so many coaches, professional level, like lower level too, like the balance between, you know, defending and attacking and, you know, how you find the balance, getting the spine and everything to work. For you guys, you know, how difficult is it, you know, to go from one thing to another, wanting to try and focus solely on defending, but then also remembering, oh, we got to make sure we get into the attack too and get things going.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a challenge. I think that's what preseason's for. I think we're learning how to defend, we're learning how to attack. In each game, I feel like our team chemistry is clicking more and more. I feel like our team energy is clicking more too. So, it's just getting exciting approaching conference play. We've definitely had a challenging preseason, but we're all still confident going into the conference play, and we know we can compete. So we're excited for that.
I want to ask about that relationship between you and Caroline Shaw up top. The last couple of games, it's been fun watching. I think you guys get to know each other a little bit more and figuring out, when to go, when to stay back. And how has it been for you getting to work with her up top?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, as a grad student, I'm 5 years older than Caroline. So it's pretty awesome seeing her get her first few minutes, and build her confidence. And I mean, we just met a few weeks ago and we already have such a connection. So I'm excited just to improve our chemistry together. And she's fun to play with too. We have a good
Yeah.
time.
And it was really fun watching y'all against Mercer. It was really fun seeing the way y'all connected in those moments too. And also Brenna Young too is someone else who I think it comes into the fold here too. And being a grad student, coming from Georgia as well. I know you took a bit of a leave from playing as well, but how has it been kind of forming those connections on the field with Caroline, with Brenna, with so many of the other playmakers in the field too?
It's been awesome. I mean, something that's really special about this team is just like the connections and friendships that we have. Like, I don't think there's been a single practice where we're not just, having a good time, laughing, enjoying ourselves. And that's really unique and special. So I love that about this team.
I think it shows too, especially in the moments. I think remembering back to Annabelle and Alana's goal. I mean, first of all, I'll tell you in the booth for Annabelle's goal, absolutely insane. I think I was like up on my chair. Jason is like this because we're like, oh my God. I mean, just and it shows the way that you guys celebrate, the way you guys interact. I constantly hear the bench going every time y'all are out there. It's got to be so nice to have that energy when you're out there on the pitch too.
Oh, yeah. And that's such an AB goal. Like, in practice, that's just how she scores. She doesn't score a goal that isn't absolutely beautiful.
Going through your history and just seeing, your playing career, you played at a club called MVLA in California. What were some of the biggest things you learned and that shaped you into the player you are today?
I would say so. MVLA is known for their coaching staff. They're known to be a technical club. And I think when you're a player developing, it's important to develop your technical skills early on. So I'm so grateful that I was able to play for a club like MVLA because I really think it has helped me like kind of get to where I am today. Um, Actually, my previous coach, she was Marguerite, Coach Marguerite at UCLA. So she's now celebrating national championships. So it's definitely a special club to come from.
Yeah, and coming back into especially you played with Gadani over there at Georgia for a little bit. You took a year or so off and then coming back to play for KSU. How hard was it for you to kind of jump back into the collegiate game in this way and kind of almost relearn how to play collegiately too?
Yeah, I will definitely say it did feel like I had to relearn more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a challenge, but honestly, taking 2 years off of playing, it had me so eager and excited to, lace back up my cleats. So I feel like I've started to gain my confidence every training, every game, which has also been special. And yeah, I'm just super excited to be playing again, especially at a team like KSU. It's really a special place.
Yeah, I think that leads into my next one. Obviously, you have Danny who's on the roster too, played at Georgia. Kind of finding your way to KSU. What was that journey like?
Well, it's actually funny. I remember getting a call from Danny, and she was kind of like one of my biggest role models on UGA when I played for them. And I was like, why is Danny calling me? It was really just a random time. And I had picked up, and she was like, hey, would you ever consider, playing again, playing for KSU? And I didn't even really have to hesitate for a second. I was like, absolutely, yes. So I think maybe the next week I came and she kind of showed me around campus, introduced me to Chris and Wes, and um, it just felt right. I was like, first of all, I wouldn't want to play for anybody else, and I was just missing soccer so much. So it's been amazing to be able to play again.
And joining back into, a squad, I think that's still trying to figure out who they are, especially with, some of the seniors leaving from last year and a team still trying to figure out, I think, who they are under Chris Cahill too. And you've seen flashes of it, but for you as someone who's been through some of those like working pains, someone who is a grad student, How have you kind of helped a lot of these freshmen, a lot of these players kind of get out of that rut and kind of find their confidence that you guys have been finding the last couple of games?
Well, I think since I didn't know I was going to be playing soccer again, I feel like I haven't taken any of these moments for granted. So I feel like sometimes when we're at training and we have, our head down or we don't feel like going there, I feel like not only me, but also our senior class, which is majority of the team, it's a huge senior class, has been able to be like, hey, like this is our last season. Like, don't put your head down, like enjoy every minute. You're not going to get to do this ever again. So I feel like that's helped just keep kind of our mentality on the team, like just ready to show up every practice, every game and compete. So I think that's been good for us.
And y'all got a tough opponent going up against Georgia Southern tomorrow. Another in-state rival. You guys have had a couple of them here, and then Georgia Southern is one. Going into this matchup, they're a team known for playing very direct, very long balls over the top. And you guys are a team that I think plays a little bit more with possession. You guys like having the ball at your feet a little bit more and kind of distributing more and breaking the lines up top. How hard is it going up against a team like Georgia Southern when it's two very conflicting styles going up against each other?
Well, first of all, I think it's exciting playing a team like Georgia Southern, an in-state rival. I think that just brings more fun to the game. But also, I think we actually just came back from training, and Chris has a good plan for how we're going to approach the game, and I'm confident that it's going to work for us. I agree with it completely. So I think it should be a good match. I'm confident that we're going to do well. So defensively and offensively.
Yeah. It's a weird one too, going up against these rivals. You go up against Mercer, you go up against Georgia State, and you got to kind of keep your emotion a little bit. You know it too, playing at Georgia as well. When you play these in-state rival matches, it feels like almost like a semifinal where you're like, I want to do well. A lot of these girls too. What is the emotion like heading into a match like this between you guys in training?
I think it's our turn to win. I think we have so much built up competitiveness, and just going into yet another in-state rivalry, I think we're just ready to go in there and, be a team, work hard, fight, and ultimately win the game.
Well, Rebecca, thank you so much again for taking the time to chat with me. I will be on the call as well as Jordan Griffith on ESPN Plus tomorrow, 7 p.m. It's going to be a fun one. I don't think y'all are going to want to miss it, so tune into ESPN Plus. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me, Madison.